Honda's getting investigated by the NHTSA about unintentional braking. This is exactly the opposite of what Toyota got slammed with in the 2000s with unintentional acceleration. And it goes further than 251,000 Honda vehicles. Today we're going to go over not only this issue that Honda's facing, but a ton of different recalls that Honda has received in the past 6 months or so. So grab your snacks and drinks, buckle in, and let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Kirk. I talk about industry auto news, and Honda is known for making very reliable vehicles. And if you guys like Honda like I do, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe for more Honda news coming down the hatch this year. I'm sure we have quite a bit more, and I will be driving the Acura ZDX soon, next few months, and I will be driving that beautiful Civic hybrid this summer. So make sure you are subscribed. But let's go on. I mean, that's exciting stuff. This is the opposite of exciting. This is worrying for Honda. We have nearly 251,000 Hondas being looked into. And the U.S. auto safety regulators have received quite a few complaints at this point about these unintended decelerations, I should say. These Hondas are activating the emergency automatic braking system when there's nothing around the vehicle. This covers 2019 to 2022 Honda Insight, rest in peace, right? The Civic Hybrid's replacing that this year, and the Honda Passport midsize crossovers. We should be getting a new Passport that hopefully won't have any of these issues in the coming, end of 2025, I think. The NHTSA has received 46 complaints alleging inadvertent activation of crash avoidance technology, and there has been no apparent obstruction in the vehicle's path. There have been 3 crashes or fires and 2 injuries related to the issue. And this investigation started March 7th. One of the complaints said, "My emergency brake goes on and off randomly. That is a nightmare. It has caused an accident in my vehicle and also 2 flat tires and wheel damage. The sensors will make it brake on a smooth road with no vehicles nearby. It will also brake in the rain while turning a corner. It has put my safety at risk." That is the last thing you want. You buy a new car oftentimes because you want a safer car. But not only that, it's putting your life and other people's lives potentially at risk. This is a nightmare situation for Honda. And another complaint in Indiana, a red brake warning light flashing on the display. Sometimes the vehicle will start braking on its own, the complaint said. This has happened multiple times, randomly with no obstructions in front or even close to the car. Scary when it occurs. Honda says they're cooperating with the government for this investigation to get this resolved. Guys, but this isn't the first time. In February 2022, so a little over a year ago, the government opened an investigation into more than 1.7 million Hondas for unintended automatic emergency braking. This is a huge issue. So we're essentially at 2 million vehicles that are being investigated. And that original investigation is still open and covers Honda Accords, and it covers the CR-V. So the 2 main volume sellers, the 2 main money makers. The good news is that the 2018 to 19 Accord and CR-V, those are the older generations. So I would assume that the new generations wouldn't have this issue, and the Passport is still the same. After the NHTSA is done investigating, they can either close the investigation or move to the next phase. And if a safety-related defect exists, the agency might send a recall request letter to the manufacturer. Okay, so this is seemingly a long ways from being resolved. We're going to pop on over to cars.com. They compile all of the recalls for the automakers. And we have quite a few, not only for all of them, but for Honda. Since the topic is Honda at hand, it's not necessarily Honda right here because we know how bad the airbag situation has been in the industry. Toyota got dinged real bad for this recently as well. The fuel pumps, Toyota got dinged for fuel pumps many years ago. They addressed this before anyone else, so maybe Honda's just now getting to it. And I think it was fuel pumps from Denso, which is one of the largest suppliers in the world. But yes, tons of fuel pumps being recalled for Honda. CR-V hybrids recalled for battery cable fuse. And this is affecting its 12-volt battery cable. I remember the RAV4 hybrid getting recalled fairly recently for something to do with its 12-volt battery as well. 303,000 plus Honda Accord's HRVs recalled for seat belts. 249,000 recalled for potential engine damage. New pilots recalled for loss of steering control. Only 519. That is a scary thought, to lose steering. And 176,000 Honda Civics recalled for steering racks. Oof. The steering is one of the best things about the new generation Civic. It's not even new anymore, but this 11th generation Civic, it is a steering masterpiece for an affordable compact car. But yes, that got seemingly recalled as well for 22 to 2024 model years. And that's as far back as October 25th. I didn't want to go any further back, but that's a lot of recalls in a short amount of time. Now, do recalls mean that reliability is fading? No, not necessarily. In fact, a lot of manufacturers don't recall their cars until they get investigated. Then they're forced by the government to do a recall. There's horror stories of other automobile manufacturers refusing to do recalls, and then people get killed. People are getting hurt because their cars are unsafe. Honda's recalling a lot of these vehicles, probably way before the NHTSA requires them to. They're getting out ahead of it because they need to keep their reputation. So just because they're having a lot of recalls does not mean reliability is a concern. And in fact, they are taking measures to make sure their vehicles are safe. You guys do your own research and figure out if this is something that is of concern. All right. Just make sure if you have recalls on your vehicle, go to the dealership, get it replaced for free. But while Honda is facing some tough times, and even Nissan facing some tough times in America for totally different reasons. Honda, it's their recalls right now. Nissan in America, it's due to pretty much a complete drop in demand for their models. Check this out. Both of those brands are having to sink their production, cut their production due to a lack of profitability and a lack of customer demand. The Chinese automakers, they're rising. They get a lot of support from the Chinese government, and they have tons of advantages when it comes to battery electric vehicles where the traditional automakers do not over in China. So get this. Nissan is capable of producing 1.6 million vehicles in China. This year, I ran the numbers, they're only going to be producing 555,000 cars. So they're roughly at less or about a third of their overall production capacity for 2024. And they're not even selling that many in China because since there's no demand for Nissans anymore, a lot of their vehicles are being exported from China that are produced in China to other Asian countries. For the first time in 14 years, Nissan sold under 1 million vehicles in 2023, down to 793. And like I said, in 2024, it's going to be somewhere around 500,000. Honda wants to reduce its capacity in China by 20% to around 1.2 million vehicles annually. So Honda doing not good in China, but way better than Nissan, seemingly. Honda has a total capacity of 1.5 million cars in China through two joint ventures with GAC and the other through Dongfeng. Toyota's hanging on quite a bit better than its contemporaries from Japan. In China, Toyota fell 2% last year, and the company sells EV models. Well, here's the thing. Yes, they sell the BZ3, the BZ4X. I don't think they're great sellers by any means, but Honda has their own EVs as well, and I think Nissan does too, but they also have a lot of their e-power technology hybrids. Nissan does in China. Yeah, Honda has their own ENSY. They have terrible names for them. They're E-series of electric vehicles over there in China, but I don't think those are being very well received either. At their peak in 2020, Japanese automakers held 20% of the passenger car market in China. Just 3 to 4 years later, they're in a free fall essentially. I mean, Mazda is falling quite bad. About 2 years ago, Acura completely pulled out of China and is no longer available there. And in 2023, Chinese makes saw their market share rise 56%. So Nissan reducing production 30%, Honda 20%, and then the Chinese automakers up 56%. We said the Japanese automakers in 2020 had 20% of the Chinese market. Now the Chinese brands have a 30% share, and local car makers such as BYD have become much stronger with Japanese brands mainly dropping out due to cutthroat pricing. We covered earlier on the channel this year that Mitsubishi's gone. They left China. It was essentially a ghost town for Mitsubishi. It's happening to Nissan. It could be happening to Honda. Toyota's holding on, but for how long? How long can they do this? And when the bloodbath is over, are all Japanese autos going to be gone from China? What's the end going to be for them? Because these manufacturers from Japan make a ton of money in China. Well, they used to before the price cuts and a lack of demand. So that part of revenue is just cut out for them. It's very interesting, but I'm going to shut it down, guys. Thanks for watching. I am in Franklin, Tennessee to drive the all-new Santa Fe today. I just woke up a little bit early to talk about some news coming out of Honda's camp. And I'll see you guys in the comments. Are you worried about Honda's reliability, or do you think it's a good thing? They're getting investigated. I think obviously it's a good thing. But more importantly, what about the recalls? Do you think that the recalls are a sign of Honda's fading reliability, or do you think it's Honda getting ahead of the curve and making sure their vehicles are safe for their customers before the government can even get involved? It's probably a little bit of both, but I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.